Hello everybody and welcome back to KSP2, where we need to land, I'm going to go with near the Mohole. I don't think we want to land in the Mohole, if we can at all help it, but let's land somewhere near the Mohole. So we're just going to bring it down to be something kind of like this, although it's maybe a little too overshot. Something a little bit more like that or so. That looks decent. So we'll align to that. I don't want to land in the Mohole because we really can't see what's going on at the poles. It's going to be very, very dark when we get to the ground, I think. And that's going to be a significant hurdle for us. In retrospect, I should have brought lights on this. And that's probably something that I will look to do in future KSP2 builds just in general, because KSP2 does not have any brightness settings, which is wild. But okay, it's very difficult to see things, sure. We understand that. We've got about 20 seconds until this burn. 10 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. So we're just going to burn our way through this. And I just want to land near the Mohole. And hopefully that'll count. And if not, we can jump Jeb over there. And hopefully that'll count. We'll see what ends up happening here. We've got 3, 2, 1... 0. Okay, so engine shutdown, that looks fine. Let's put this into surface retrograde. And for now, I'd like to warp to somewhere around here or so. So we'll time warp our way in, and we're going to be losing a fair amount of speed, of course. We have sun at this point, but as we come in, it's going to get lower and lower on the horizon. So the Mohole is right up over here. It's unfortunate that it's on the pole, but whatever. This is what we've got to deal with. So we're going to want to start our braking burn fairly soon here. And we're going to want to head out over this way as well. So that is going to end up being a pretty hefty burn. Let's get going on it right now. Okay. So we're going to need to do quite a lot of braking here. And I would also like to head off in one of these directions. I think it's not this one. I think it's this one. Yeah. I want to park somewhere around here or so. Okay. There we go. And we can see as we drift around that this is going to be approximately the correct direction. This being polar makes things quite awkward, no doubt about it. But let's head over to... Actually, let's just hold here for the time being. Yeah. Yep, just holding here for right now. We've got about 200 meters per second left, and now I'm going to take ourselves over to retrograde. Okay. So we're going to land a ways away from the hole, I suspect, but I want to take this over here. I want to get rid of horizontal velocity at this point. So we're just going to hold this position, and that's nearly dealt with. Excellent. Now I want to turn back towards the hole and start burning out this way just a little bit. Okay, bringing it like up over here. There we go. Let's bring this back over to retrograde. And we're going to need to kill that retrograde speed once we make our way in over here. I would like to not land in the hole because that is very dark down in that hole. I've actually been in there before, and it's almost impossible to go in there. So that is... well, it's not impossible to go in. It's easy enough to go in. What's difficult is landing at the bottom of the hole because you can't see anything. It's all completely and totally obscured. So we're going to land right out over here. And we're going to need to begin our braking burn very, very shortly here. Right about now, in fact. So we're going to do that. And we're just going to get rid of our velocity here. Okay. That's reasonably fine. Now we're going to get ourselves in position for this actual landing. So this is down over here, right? We definitely could go up there, but this is kind of a, like, volcano caldera almost. It's not actually that, but it's almost like that, where this is very, very tall, right? It's going to take a while to get there. So I'd like to land a little bit more like on the ridge, but this might be absolutely fine here. We're going to be landing in the dark, though. See how it's darkening as we come in? The shadow map is loading in now. So the question is, are we landing in a fairly flat area? And it's very difficult to tell here. No doubt about that. Let's decelerate a decent amount. I think the answer is probably no on the landing in a fairly flat area. I think it's definitely no. We may want to take it up over this way. So that would be out some direction. Well, let's just let this come on down for the moment. We're still about 300 meters up. And let's just see how we did. I'm guessing the answer is not great, but let's just slowly be decelerating here. 11, 10, 9. Okay. I want to let this accelerate a little bit, up to about 15 meters per second. And now we'll decelerate it again. 10 meters per second. Keeping an eye on our altitude. I'm concerned about how flat this terrain is, for sure, or perhaps I should say isn't. Okay. It looks maybe decent. We just need to let ourselves drop a little bit further. Okay. Just hold attitude here. Are we tipping? Just hold attitude. Okay. Run science. Let's go. Now, we are not in the Mohole at this point. Let's turn the SAS off. I don't want to be draining electric charge. I think we're good here. So let's have Jeb EVA. And Jeb is going to let go. Come on, Jeb. Let go. There you go. Now, he's going to do some science here. Cool. So this is technically in the Highlands. Now, we do have a little bit of sunlight visible over there, but we need to make our way up to the top here. So I'm having Jeb run his surface survey here on Mohole, and he's also going to run a crew observation. I'm still a little concerned about Jeb making his way back, by the way, for the record. I'm a little concerned about Jeb coming home, but for the moment, this is going reasonably okay. As long as we can get back into orbit, we'll be hopefully fine. So Jeb is now going to turn off his RCS. And we're going to have to run our way up over here. I'm going to quick save in case anything goes really strange. But we're going to do that. Can we time warp this run? Yes, we can. So we need to climb this caldera. And that's going to take a while, and it's very dark. So I'm going to cut this out, and when we come back, we'll be at the top of the caldera, and hopefully that will count for being in the Mohole. We'll see. See you guys in just a moment. Okay, so here we are a ways through. I'm zoomed out maximally right now, and I realize you can't really see much, but we are very close at this point. We can see this line here. We're very close to the top. So we are making our way through here. It's incredibly difficult to see anything at all, but if we zoom way in, we can just make out Jeb here, and he is almost up to the top. Now, I was informed that our lander was on a crashing trajectory a bit ago. I hopped back to it, and it seems fine. So hopefully it is. Hopefully it is. I do have a couple of saves on the way up, just in case, but we'll see what ends up happening here. I'm hoping that we can get this done this way without actually having to land in the thing, because it's so hard to see that I'm very concerned that we would, you know, run into walls and such on the way down there. We can see what's down in the Mohole. It's like this cube, but I know for a fact that once you get down there, you can't see a thing. It is completely pitch dark. So that's just like shadow map distance, and that is absolutely understood. That is fine, but we definitely need to get to the top here. So that's a, yeah, I think we're very, very close. This is us here. So we're very close to the Mohole. We're still considered in Highlands at this point. The question is, can we just dip in and get credit? That would be ideal. That would be absolutely astounding, in fact. So yeah, you can see here as we're zooming in, we're getting really close to the top. We can keep an eye out here to watch where we are. So that looks good. How far away from the lander are we right now? 1.2 kilometers? Okay, that is absolutely fine. Let's just make our way up to the top here. We are incredibly close. Come on, Jeb. You can do it. There you go. Okay, so let's exit the physics warp here. Or I guess time warp. And here we are right at the entrance of the Mohole. So the question now, of course, is if we were to position ourselves right about here, right at the edge of it, does this count as being, quote-unquote, in the Mohole? Landed in the Mohole? Or do we have to go all the way down? In which case, can our monoprop lift us back up? That's an interesting question. Do we have enough monoprop to get out of this? I would be a little surprised if we did. It's about a 3-kilometer hole. So there is that. We're starting to go down into the Mohole at this point, and I'm not sure where this starts. I'm wondering if Jeb is going to be here forever. That is a theoretical possibility. Can we get to the bottom without him going splat? That's also an interesting question. I don't know the answer to a lot of these questions. But let's go down a bit and find out. With any luck, we can go down part way and get credit for it. That would be ideal. Or if he can just run this, that would also be amazing. So far, he can just run it. We haven't had to use any monoprop. We haven't had to jump, but I'm guessing that's about to change. I think he's going to lose his grip and he's going to fall. The next question is, does he survive an impact? I have no idea what the safe impact velocity for Kerbals in KSP2 is. So there's that. I was hoping we'd be in the biome by now. Unfortunately, we are not. I'm also a little surprised we haven't started falling yet. If we can run the whole way, I'll do that, but I'm not going to do it all on camera. So that's definitely interesting. It's going to take a while to move 2.9 kilometers, but if we end up falling, it'll go a lot faster. I'm flummoxed that we haven't started falling yet. And if it ends up looking like we're just going to be able to run the whole way, like I said, I will do that. That is worth it to me. But I won't make you sit through that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut out this section again, and if anything interesting happens, we'll come back. I'll make a save here just in case, and I'll see you guys in just a moment. Okay, so nothing really of interest happened on the way down. There were a couple of very, very brief small falling portions, but we were actually able to walk basically the whole way down. So that's kind of insane. But at this point, we can do our experiments here. We did get credit. It popped up over here. I wasn't recording at the time, unfortunately, but we did get credit, and we'll hop back and get that here in a moment. I do also want to run our crew observation. I believe we just ran our surface survey. And we're going to have to make our way back, of course. So that's going to be a fairly long and arduous process, but that is absolutely fine. I don't mind that. So let's make sure that we got that surface survey as well. That should be duplicating it. So that's fine. And we'll head back to the mission control here as soon as that's done. Which, there we go. Yeah, that already exists. So let's head back to mission control here. And we should have completed the Mohole in 1. Yes. So that's fine. All we had to do was climb down in the hole, which definitely took a little while longer than expected, but that's fine. And now we need to return back to our lander. Again, I'm not going to make you sit through the long and arduous process of walking to do that. We might have to burn some monoprop on the way up, too, to get through those falling portions, but I'm not too concerned about that. I think that'll be fine. Returning from a surface sample report of the Croissant on Mohole. Where is that? Let's head into the tracking station, and let's just get this straight on out of here. That'll be fine. So I want to check to see where on Mohole this is. Out over here? I highly doubt we have the fuel to hop over and do that. We could walk, but that would be an incredibly long walk. I think we'll come back for that later. That'll be an easier place to get to anyway. Okay, so I'm going to bring Jeb back, and when we come back, we'll be basically back to our launcher, and hopefully Jeb will be able to at least get back into orbit. Fingers crossed on that one. I think he'll be okay. See you guys in just a moment. Okay, so here we are back. It was a long and arduous journey once again, and as you can see, I've burned some monoprop. We got stuck a couple of times here and there, but we managed to make our way all the way back to our lander. You can barely see it here. Okay, let's make our way back inside. Which side has the hatch here? I think this is it here. Pretty sure this is the hatch. Yes. Okay, we're gonna board here. And our current attitude is 180. Okay, we want to be on the 90-degree marker, which is out over here. We've only got 495 meters per second. That is nearly enough to put us into orbital speed, but not enough. We'll see how this goes. We probably want to get a bunch of verticality here. So we're going to want to turn SAS back on. And we'll just hold the attitude here for now. I want to take us to up as soon as we lift off. This is going to be kind of dicey. We'll see how this goes. I really doubt that we have enough in this tank to return us home. But we might be able to do some sort of a rescue craft. I'm not sure if we're able to transfer over our science if we do that, though. That's the real question. Is there any way to do that? So if we were to go into our research inventory here, is there any way to do that? We have no connection right now. Samples must be returned to the KSC. I'm not seeing any way to move those. So that's going to be exciting. Well, let's lift this off and see how it goes. So we're going to lift off, and we're going to immediately go into the up vector. And I want to head out in the... Well, actually, we don't need to do that. We're in a polar orbit. So we're just going to head off in the north vector for right now. Okay, we're going to burn this off fairly soon. Here we can see our apoapsis is already about 20k. So I want to be burning horizontally here and get as much speed as we can before we lose these engines. Actually, we probably want to just burn prograde at this point. Okay, ditch the engines as soon as we've settled our position. I want to retract our solar panels quick. Come on, solar panels. Okay, ditch them. Solar panels back out. Okay, time to apoapsis is going up. That's excellent. I'm bringing us around to the position here. Okay, so we've got about 400 meters per second to go here. All we need to do right now is get into orbit. That is our only real goal right now. So let's just park this at prograde for the moment, and let's bring this up. Okay, this is really, really dizzying. This is because we are over the pole at this moment. Okay, we're bringing our apoapsis up to about 40k is enough. So just park it there for now. And once we arrive at this apoapsis, I want to do this burn. Oh, come on. I want to do this burn and get ourselves into orbit. I don't care about what the orbit is for right now. I just want to get ourselves into an orbit. Okay, this is apparently stuck clicked. That's exciting. Okay, let's try something about like this. This is fine. Let's align for that burn. That burn is going to be in about 3 minutes. So we managed to get back into orbit. From here, in theory, Jeb can push, although that will be a lot of mass to push, and he'd have to push a really long ways. So there is that. We'll see. For now, I want to warp forward until we are ready to start this burn. This isn't the exact burn I want us to be at, but it's close enough. So we're going to position ourselves about here. 30 seconds to go. And 20 seconds. Okay, we technically passed it a little bit. But let's go. We're burning prograde at this point, and this will be fine. We overshot this a little bit, but we should be absolutely okay. We're still... Actually, time to apoapsis is going up right now, which is great. We really like seeing that. That's really solid. We don't have much DV left in this stage at this point. This stage is not going to carry us back to Kerbin. I can tell you that right now. So that's the thing. We could definitely have Jeb get out and push. That's a definite option. So yeah, that's certainly a choice. No doubt about that. We've got 1,100 meters per second here, and I think that number is fairly realistic. Like, this is all we have for the fuel here at this point. So that is definitely concerning, no doubt about that. But let's just get ourselves into orbit for right now. Getting into orbit is the biggest part of this. So beyond that, I'd like to push up our apoapsis as big as possible, because we are going to need to get ourselves equatorial, which of course is not possible from that polar launch location. So we're going to push our apoapsis up here. And an equatorial change is going to be pretty hefty. No doubt about that. But let's just raise this apoapsis on up to be fairly high here. I'm keeping an eye on our DV, but it should be reasonably fine. This will be the expensive portion here. And then, of course, returning to Kerbin will be pretty expensive as well. Okay. So let's just get our apoapsis up reasonably high here. I'd like to bring this back to equatorial, but we have a severe lack of DV for returning. No doubt about that. Okay. Just watching this burn for the time being. I don't really want to escape here. Out of curiosity, if we were to escape here, this is a hypothetical. If we were to escape here, what would this put us at in this orbit? That's fine. Okay. Just continue to burn prograde. And actually, we are in escape velocity now. So that looks good. We've got 655 meters per second at this point, right? We're in escape velocity? Yeah, we're in escape velocity. Okay, so we've got that. This is our orbit now. So our orbit went down towards Kerbal. We, of course, need to set Eve as our target here. So we should have burned the other direction, to be honest. But I want Eve, or not Eve, I want Kerbin to be set as our target. We need to find an encounter here. So we need this to actually be set as our target. There we go, Kerbin as target. Now, we're going to be pretty off in our prograde, or not our prograde, our inclination. So sometime around here, how much DV would it cost to raise that apoapsis? Yeah, this is what we've got. Okay, so we are very low on our amount of fuel. No doubt about that, but I want to be able to push past beyond this fuel. I want to know how much it would cost us to actually burn this further, because we need to be able to find... Okay, this is a problem with KSP2 then. We need to be able to find an encounter. I wonder if it would let us do it beyond here with the infinite fuel option toggled on. That would be interesting. So that is here under general, right? Why are these both off and on right now? Okay, that's weird. These are apparently bugged. But if we were to turn infinite propellant on, I'm not going to actually use the infinite propellant. Will that allow us to plot this beyond? It won't. Okay, that is a significant oversight. Interesting. That is a very significant oversight, because we need to be able to change that. And actually, this descending node is very wrong. This ascending and descending node is very wrong. We need to be able to plot even without fuel, because we're planning on pushing our way back, right? So we need to be able to plot this without fuel, and we can't actually plot beyond what we have fuel. Cannot change maneuver, no fuel, which is odd to me. It should allow us to do this, especially when we have infinite fuel on. Now I'm going to turn that off before I forget to, but that is definitely an interesting thing, that it won't let us do that. So how would we plot our way back to Kerbin? We just have to eyeball it? That sucks. We should be able to plot our maneuvers beyond what we have fuel capacity for. I wonder if it would change that if we turned infinite propellant on and saved here. So we make a save there, and then we reload the save that we literally just made. So we load this game with infinite propellant on, and we load. Will it bypass that check? That would be an interesting thing to know. So let's see what we've got here. Yes, we are currently escaping from Mohole. That's understood. Okay, so at this point, we would like to come out over here. I don't care where this maneuver is. I just want to do this. No, it won't let us push this maneuver beyond the DV that we have right now. So this would mean that what we would have to do is we'd have to make a plan somewhere and burn past. We'd have to do multiple burns with the infinite fuel on so that we could plan beyond it and see if that would work. That's insane. That is an insane way to do things. Okay. I'm curious right now, how much fuel would it take if we set Kerbal as our target here? And I really wish we could just set it as Kerbal, right? That would be really, really nice, but unfortunately we can't. So this is Jewel out over here. This is going to be Kerbal here. So if we set Kerbal as our target, then that will tell us that we're like 7.6 degrees off. How much DV will that be? Because if we're going to eyeball it, we should probably be in the correct inclination. Okay, so yeah, 7.5. If we put this right up over here, other direction. Okay, so we would need more than 655 meters per second to do that. Now, we could launch a rescue flight out here. However, I would prefer to avoid that. The way that we could go about, and this isn't updated now. Okay, things are getting a little bit buggy right now. No doubt about that. I want to turn off that infinite fuel. I want to make sure that this is off. And yeah, once again, these are both simultaneously on and off until you mouse over it. Okay, whatever. We're definitely running into some bugs here. No doubt about it. So for now, I think what we need to do is we need to exit Mohole. I think that's the biggest thing that needs to happen right now. So let's warp down to here and just escape from Mohole. This will put us back into interplanetary space. And that's fine. We got here with 655 meters per second left. Now, 655 is not enough to bring us home, but we can definitely get out and push on the way. Although I suppose what we could say is because of the issue with the situation that we've got right now, we could simply say, well, getting out and pushing is essentially the same as infinite fuel. I don't like that choice. It is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, we don't necessarily have to change this inclination. We would definitely have an encounter eventually if we were to burn out like this. But the question is, how long would that be, right? That's what we would need the encounter to be able to tell. We could do, and this is getting really janky at this point, we could do a save game edit. I have no idea how that's done in KSP2. I've done it to fix issues in KSP1 before, but we could do a save game edit to fill this tank up. That would give us about twice the DV that we have now to work with. That still wouldn't be enough, I don't think. Yeah, that makes things really awkward. The fact that we're not allowed to plot maneuver plans that are more than what we have here, is that an option in the settings? We should probably skip launch sequence. That's the thing. Okay, so there's definitely not an option for it here. It's not in the difficulty. It wouldn't make sense for it to be in the difficulty. In the user interface, this is fine. We could actually maybe turn off the... Well, this is okay. Yeah, this is all fine here. The problem, of course, is that it's not allowing us to push past our fuel amount. When I want to know how much fuel we would need. Like, even if you are doing, like, a refueling mission, that still seems necessary to be able to figure out how much DV do I need? How much fuel do I need over what I have right now? It's kind of crazy that they don't allow you to even make a plan here and then just tell you you're out of fuel. That's insane to me. I have no idea why they do that. Wild choice. So how do we want to fix it? Well, we could do it without maneuvers. The problem with that, of course, is while we can do that, we wouldn't have any predictions on where our intersects would be. And I do rely on that. So that's definitely problematic. I'll have to think about how we want to solve this. A rescue craft could do the trick. I'd have to figure out if we're capable of moving our research at all. Because I'd really like to be able to get this data. That would be good. It'd be really, really good to be able to do that. So we can see that some of these could be sent back if we had a connection. We could send an antenna out, in theory, like a relay antenna. That would be fine. But the surface samples are what we really want to get back. So that's the thing. I am not sure how we want to handle that. Getting out and pushing would be my normal way to do it. So what I would normally do is I would burn out this tank. Well, what I would do is I would come in here and I would say, okay, so what do we need to get back? And then I'd say, well, we can get an intercept if we were to burn, hypothetically, it probably wouldn't be here, but hypothetically, if we burned prograde here, we could get an intercept out over here after X amount of DV, where X in this case is probably around 2 to 3,000, something like that, would be what I would expect. So then we'd have to have Jeb get out and push for a significant portion of that. And that's a doable thing. The question is, how do we get there from here, right? And honestly, at this point, I think that the only way to do it is just to trial and error it from here, because it won't let us do the maneuvers. We can trial and error it with infinite propellant on and just see where we need to burn to get it. That's insane, to be clear. That is absolutely insane. But I think that's the only way forward. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to do that off camera. And once I have it figured out, I'll try to reproduce it as best as I can with Jeb pushing, also off camera. And when we come back, because that's going to take a really, really long time. When we come back, we could be on a return trajectory to Kerbal. I don't know. I'm not happy with that. I'm really not happy with that. The main thing that's causing this issue isn't that we don't have enough fuel. That was already suspected to be the case long ago. That's not the core problem here. The core problem is that the maneuver plan isn't allowing us to push past our amount of fuel and say, hypothetically, if we happen to have a way to get more fuel, which we do, how could we end up getting an intercept? That's the way it works in KSP 1. That is not the way it works in KSP 2. Which leaves us with a really awkward scenario. No doubt about it. Okay. Well, I'll see what I can find. And next episode, I guess we'll be heading back to Kerbal. I'm not happy about it, but we'll see what we can do. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadowwolf, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kintogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.